Today's very somber episode of the Bill Simmons podcast brought to you by ZipRecruiter. You know it's not smart? Caring about football. You know what else isn't smart? Job sites that overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. Luckily, there's a smart way at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. They find people with the right skills for your job. They actively invite them to apply. My listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. Meanwhile, SeatGeek, the best app for buying and selling tickets to sporting events, concerts, whatever else you want, for $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase on any game or sporting event. Use promo code BS. Sounds like a good holiday gift. Download the SeatGeek app or go right to SeatGeek.com. And if you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. I thought you've been listening for a while. We're also brought to you by TheRinger.com, where you can find a basketball piece for me that will be written. It's going up this week. Yeah. My fingers still work, apparently. I was worried. So that's happening. The Rewatchables, 2 episodes left. We have Con Air coming this week. We taped that one, and we taped Tombstone, which is going to run Christmas week. So Con Air and Tombstone for The Rewatchables, which was named a Best of 2018 podcast by Apple. So there you go. Tombstone a week from now. Con Air this week. Con Air is... Kyle, have you seen Con Air?
I've seen Con Air. I've seen it.
Some
Many
people
times.
think Godfather is the greatest movie ever made. I think it's Con Air.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's Con Air.
Do you talk about that on the pod?
Yeah, we do. We debate, Godfather, some of the other all-time classics, and then Con Air. It's so good. I forgot how great it was. That's happening. Coming up, the Cuz is going to come on, and we are going to commiserate about all kinds of horrible things that happened in Week 15. We're going to do a little Parent Corner. I might actually pull my son into Parent Corner, and he's going to do his Christmas list, which is really great. So stay tuned for that. First, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, the Cuz is on the line. I hate everything, Sal. I hate absolutely everything. I hate football. I hated the last 11 hours. I don't like what happened. I don't know how to move forward. Let's start there.
I don't know how to help you either. This is one of those days where you watch football, you're like, oh, I think this resembles the game I've been viewing for the last, 40 years or so, but nothing really added up.
No.
Your team, my team, that atrocity we just watched on Sunday night, I don't get it. And all our money's gone.
And my fantasy season's over.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
And my Brady Belichick era might be over. Other than that, it was a great day. We ordered from Castle's or Cassell's. It's Castle's.
I think it's Cassell's, right?
Cassell's in LA, and I had a patty melt, I had a milkshake, had some fries.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it just was one of those nights.
A lot of those things you're mentioning aren't gluten free, I think.
No, I didn't care. Care. I'm just I'm just down. The quarterbacks were really bad today, and what was weird was Nick Foles was really good, and it actually got me thinking. I don't know if you're an Eagles fan, how do you feel about this Nick Foles thing?
I don't know what to think about it other than he seems to. It's a weird thing. I feel like I've seen the same play over and over. A guy's right in his face, actually right on his arm, like underneath his armpit, and it not only doesn't slow down his pass, but it's right on. And that combined with the fact that the Rams were playing some kind of prevent defense I had never seen before, where you could allow 2 wide receivers get 10 yards beyond the free safety, and the cornerback was covering the other wide receiver. Yeah, that was a nice combination for the Eagles tonight. Wow. That's, I had them tied to everything. Every teaser, every money line parlay. Disgraceful.
My plan was after the Seahawks beat the Niners, I was going to take the Eagles plus 13 because I actually thought that line was too high. It got to a point where it was like, all right, this is now ridiculous. Yeah. And I never got there because I don't even know where to start with things I can't understand about today, but I think the single most inexplicable game was the Niners wanting to beat Seattle. Forget about how bad Seattle was and all the different stupid ways they tried to lose that game. But the Niners, they've really no incentive at all, and they actually had a real chance to get the number 1 seed. and they're celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. And I get it. Sports is a competition, but they have their third string quarterback. It's pouring rain. And they were playing like it was honestly like the Super Bowl for them. It was a credit to them. It was a credit to their coaching staff, but all Seattle did was win by a point and they make the playoffs. What was your explanation for that game?
Well, my explanation is I try to call you off that if you check our text exchange.
I know.
Like the Seahawks don't need it. They're like 2 games up, a game and a half up on the wild
card. They did need it,
though.
They do need it. They needed it.
Yeah, well, now they need it. They need the next one now. But,
they needed the game. They play Kansas City next week. It was –
they're going to get in. They're going to get in with eight. Well, I guess 8 and 6. Yeah.
It's so funny when –
they'll get 9.
It's like in the Netflix horror movies when in the first 20 minutes they go in the attic and they find something and you just kind of know something's wrong. Like they found some chest. The equivalent of that is when you bet on a team, everything's going well, and they miss the extra point, and it's 6-0 instead of 7-0. Right, that is the equivalent of the attic with like the evil coins that you shouldn't touch. Once that happens, I'm like, oh no, here we go. Next play, kickoff, Niners guys running back. Janikowski is the last guy in it, and I don't even know how to describe what he did. He looked like somebody who was trying to beat a car that was about to hit him. Right. And just like almost dove out of the way. Like he didn't realize he could actually touch the guy.
We were talking about that, and you don't see kickers have back-to-back bad plays because if you miss a field goal, you don't kick off, So he misses the extra point, and then I don't know. Yeah, he's got 200 pounds on him. Just lay down on the field, and you're fine. He was like sitting on the bench by the time the guy scored, ran that back.
It was like he didn't want to get hurt.
Right.
And I don't know. They made the PATs more exciting a couple years ago. They moved them back. Mm-hmm. I now hate them more than ever. Like, just get rid of them. Let's just do 2-point across the board. It feels like half the time these guys are missing the PATs. I know that's not the actual stat, but
right. I want to do. That's one of the things I want to ask God when I go to heaven, and you better believe I'm going to heaven. But when I go, I want to ask, hey, with these missed extra points, as far as my gambling goes, I'm on the wrong side way more than the right side. Right?
Why am I on the wrong side 90% of the time?
Right. I just need that answered. Then wherever you want to send me, that's fine.
Who was the guy? I watched so much football the last 2 days, it all blended together. Who was the guy who missed 2 extra points? The Jets guy? Yeah, it was the Jets guy.
Myers. And they were just singing his praises. And I had checked his stats, too. I was like, wow, in our fantasy league. I was like, nobody has this guy, and he's the number 1 kicker in the league. He's a free agent. Much better than last year. And then, then he missed 2 extra points.
I pick against the Texans every week. Sometimes I gamble against them. Mm-hmm. And every week they beat me, and I'm even more convinced next week is going to be the week when I'm going to beat them. If you watch that Jets game closely, the Texans somehow covered. They were favored by 6? They covered. They covered. They won by 7.
Yeah, it was 4. It went to 6. Yeah.
I have no idea how they won by 7. I watched the whole game. It honestly seemed like the Jets were controlling the game. And the Texans made a couple of big plays, but they couldn't run the ball. Hopkins had to make these superhuman plays just to keep them around. Man, that was frustrating.
And you kept thinking, all right, it's one thing if Darnold throws his pick. This seems like a nice spot, middle of the fourth quarter where he does it. He didn't. He actually did well. One of his better games, I thought.
I liked how he played. He's not there yet because he doesn't have weapons, and it's really hard to tell how good he is, but I was impressed. He's got a little spirit to him. He definitely has a little charisma. I'm not wavering on my Barkley over Darnold thing, but I'd say at least I'm a little worried about it. I've been wrong about everything else. I might as well.
Man, that Giants thing was very strange. Talk about a team they played like a team playing for the number 1 draft pick right there. Like someone must have smacked them and said, hey, what are we doing here? We want to end up in the top 5. Didn't even score a point.
Eli's been pretty consistently abominable. Mm-hmm. But then he'll have little stretches when he's not abominable, and then people are like, "Oh, Eli, and then he'll have entire games when he's abominable."
Well, I'm not saying Barkley's MVP. I fight with a lot of people about this. I think he's rookie of the year for sure, offensive.
He's not anymore,
MVP, but this is a good indication of what happens when he can't get out, when he gets bottled up. He had 31 rushing, I think like 20, 25 receiving, and they scored 0 points. Not even like don't compete a little bit, but nothing, not even close.
There was some really bad offense. In fact, the early games today were And I don't even think we had one close one, right? Everything was pretty much wrapped up. Packers-Bears was threatening to be maybe close, but it ended up not being close.
Somehow we get 7 screens the way we arrange it, and Bills-Lions wasn't on one of them, and the Redskins game wasn't on one of them. I think those are the 2 best, or at least closest games.
Yeah, the Bills won but didn't cover. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is just flat out exciting. It's like having. We always wonder what would happen if a running back played quarterback, and now we get to find out every week with him. I actually enjoy watching him. The games are bad.
I start him in like daily fantasy now, and don't even give it a second thought. Like
really?
Some of these teams. Yeah, he's good.
So, from a quarterback standpoint, if the listeners are like, why aren't they talking about the Cowboys and the Patriots? Because I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm just trying to duck it. From a quarterback standpoint, the ones today, if you go through, I mean, really the mediocrity has never been more apparent. I don't know if it was a cold weather thing or what, but Goff was somebody that I felt like was now upper echelon. Remember, there was he was kind of lingering in the MVP conversation a little bit. I felt like he single-handedly lost that game for them today. He was so bad. He made so many bad throws. He missed open receivers left and right, and just looked nervous. And their defense obviously wasn't that good either, but the plays were there. It was like he was afraid to go deep, and then when he had receivers, he wasn't always hitting them, and he was really sloppy with the ball. And he threw for 339 yards, threw 54 times, did not have a touchdown. Yeah, 2 picks, and two really bad picks actually. One of them was like a junior high school pick, but
I tweeted that Jared Goff is playing quarterback like a guy named Jared Goff would play quarterback. It was really, really bad. And and I was thinking, wow, I wonder if Foles is better than Wentz. I'm like, wow, Foles might be better than Goff too. I don't know what I'm watching here, but this is really something else. But yeah, that play where the center stepped on his foot and then he's going down, and he was almost down, like he would have been out of the play. They would have had a punt, and then he just flings it and it gets intercepted. Like, oh, this is definitely the Eagles' night. Get me a live money line here. I don't know what's going on. And then Gurley gets hurt. It was a big mess.
I think the one thing I'm going to file away for next year is don't do any parlays in Week 15. Just don't.
Week 15? Yeah.
Yeah, Week 15. Just don't. Seems like weird stuff happens.
Meanwhile, every favorite won early on. You talk about those early games. Every single favorite won. Didn't cover, but won. Yeah. And then you get to the late afternoon. Seahawks lose to the Niners, and your Patriots lose, and now the Rams. So the last 3 were the only dogs to win.
And those were all, I would say, 3 of the 6 or 7 best teams.
Yeah, and that's where everyone's.
What did the Patriot line end up at?
Patriot line ended up, it was a solid 3.
Man, I mean, it is crazy. I've been saying this for weeks, and people think I've been too negative with about the Pats this year. Now, I guess not. I guess they know what I was talking about. The Pats aren't very good. And we're going to talk about them in a second, but the Steelers ran all over them with their third string running back today. And they had a drive that started at the 1 yard line, and it was this dude Samuels, who's a 5th rounder, and Stephen Ridley, who I got to be honest, I didn't know really was still in the NFL, and it seems like we waived him 20 years ago.
He just came back to play against the Patriots. He's gone. They'll let him go now.
I think he was so far gone when he was in the Patriots. I think he roomed with Aaron Hernandez in 2011. Mm-hmm. It was just crazy to watch the Steelers run all over them, because it really seemed like Roethlisberger was hurt. I mean, the ball was sailing all over the place with him. Yeah,
I think Le'Veon Bell takes yet another hit in his new contract negotiations, to whichever team he ends up with. But yeah, Samuels, like you said, I don't even think he had 20 carries, but 140 yards. And they were good, but what continues to shock me is why can't guys like Gronk get open? The Hogan play for the touchdown is one that's Patriot football. That's what I think I see more. But why isn't Gronk getting open? Why didn't White drop a pass? There was just some weird things that the Patriots don't normally do.
Well, first of all, Edelman had 2 massive drops in that game.
And Gordon had one too, right?
Gordon had a big drop, but Edelman had 2 uncharacteristic kind of drive-killing drops. Mm-hmm. And when I FaceTimed my dad during the game and he was bitching, he's like, Edelman, 2 drops. But He was right. I mean, they really killed the momentum, and they were the kind of plays that, he's been making for most of his career before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The Gronk thing, though, I think that ship is pretty much sailed. I think it is what it is now. He can't get separation anymore.
This was the worst out of all of them. I know you've been saying it for months.
He can't get open anymore. He can still catch the ball in traffic, and he can still, if he's open, can get it and turn around, and the safety dives at his legs, and he just goes down. But the days of runaway freight train Gronk are long gone, and they, this is, if you watched every Patriot game this year, this is how he played today was how he's played the whole season. They did take him out of the garage in the second half and tried to run some plays with him, but there's some weird stuff going on. James White was so important in the first, 8 to 10 games, and now it's like this 3 running back rotation again. There's a lot of Rex Burkhead, and his 4.8 40. That's weird. Gordon this was the first, really big road game that he's played in, and he wasn't available today apparently.
Yeah. If you thought, like I told you before the game, hey, Steelers are only scoring 17 points. How much are we putting on the Pats?
Yeah.
I think you'd be right there with me.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's scoring on the Steelers and moving the ball, but the elephant in the room is Brady, who has been a B- this year. He's had like hour-long stretches where he's looked really good, but for the most part has not really been that good. And it was hard to tell the difference between the weapons that he had available versus, the consistency of his play. But I got to say, like, today was the first day that I really felt like he looked like a 41-year-old quarterback, not in the sense of like from a talent standpoint. Didn't seem like he wanted to get hit today.
Yeah.
There were plays when he was jerking his body away from pass rushes that weren't even really there. He just seemed, for lack of a better word, jittery. And this is a guy who, I'm going to say, what was that Denver AFC title game, 2000? It was the year before they beat Atlanta when they lost in Denver. And he just took an insane amount of punishment in that game. He must have been hit 35 times in that game. And I think he had a concussion. And he just kept staying in the pocket and taking the hits. Doesn't seem like he was as interested in taking the hits anymore. And I don't blame him. He's had an unbelievable career. He's been around for 2 decades. And he's made a ton of money. But this was the first game where I really felt like he just wasn't staying in there. And he was a lot of throwing balls, falling back. I mean, that last play, the game-ending play, he kind of had Edelman open, and he just fell to the side and winged it, and it was terrible. All 3 of those passes were terrible. But
if you look at his numbers, they're not going to be as bad as, I don't know. He has 4,000 yards almost, I think, right now. He'll end up with probably 4,500. 9 interceptions is high for him, I think, for sure. But he'll end up like with 28, 29 touchdown passes.
Well, I think what we've seen. I watched the whole Packers game today, and Rodgers, he has that interception streak where he hadn't thrown an interception for forever, and he was like 8 for 8 in that game. If you watch that game carefully, he didn't play that well, and he missed open guys. He had guys. He missed a touchdown when it should have been
Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers. Should have been 7-7. He missed the guy who was open. Instead, it's 7-3. He missed another guy for a touchdown. He missed some deep balls, and he's another guy who doesn't seem like he really is that interested in getting hit. And
there might be 10, 12 guys now in the playoffs I'd want starting in the playoffs more than Aaron Rodgers. Like I had the Bears money line today.
Yeah.
I was never really worried that he was going to come back. He didn't have a terrible game, but.
And the reason I brought him up was because you talked about how Brady's going to throw for 4,000 yards. Like I think if this is right, it says Brady has 3,700 and Rodgers has 3,700.
I think that was before today.
That was before the day. So they're right around
he's got close to 4,000, Brady.
Yeah, and Brady was heading into today 23 TDs, 8 picks. Rodgers is 23 TDs, 1 pick. But if you actually watch them play in, play out, it's certainly not a vintage season for either of them, to say the least.
No.
And I thought Brady really hurt the Pats today. The drops hurt him, no question, but he was not good. And the coaching was really bad too. I thought they were going to come out in that no huddle, attack, use James White. Where was James White today?
Yeah,
that was weird too. James White, people
he only had like 2 carries, right?
Yeah, and people were talking about how he was the best kind of third down back the Pats have ever had. He's been kind of pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
I think Brady
discouraging.
got his 1,000 yards rushing. What was that, last week, the week before? And that's it. That's all he ever wanted.
Done?
1,000 quarterback sneaks.
They had a chance to end the Steelers today. It was sitting there.
The what? What'd you say?
They had a chance to end the Steelers. Yeah. That was done. The Steelers were going home. The interception that he threw was really especially reprehensible and very un-Brady-like, and wasn't great. Let's take a break and talk about your team. Hey, let's face it, guys are terrible at taking care of their health. Studies show 70% of guys who experience erectile dysfunction don't get treated for it. As I keep saying, ED is like a check engine light for a man's body. It could be an indicator there's something more serious going on, like a heart issue or diabetes. Thankfully, our sponsor, Roman, has created an easy, discreet way to get checked out by a doctor and get treated for ED online. It's a one-stop shop. Licensed U.S. physicians can diagnose your ED, ship meds right from their pharmacy to your door. No waiting rooms, no awkward face-to-face conversations, no uncomfortable trips to the pharmacy. Just visit GetRoman.com/Bill. Fill out a brief questionnaire. Chat with the doctor. Get real FDA-approved medication, if recommended by your doctor. It's all prescribed online, delivered straight to your door in discreet, unmarked packaging. Talk to a doctor. ED is a problem that guys don't tackle, but it's really important. And now, with Roman, it's really easy to take care of it for a free online visit. Go to GetRoman.com/Bill. And since we're here, The Ringer's been putting up a whole bunch of best of 2018 stuff on the website, podcast, videos, whole bunch of videos we've been putting up, actually. We have a really nice series about our staffers' favorite stuff from 2018. So check that out as well, wherever you get your Ringer content. All right, so if we learned anything about Week 15, it was that all the teams that were having smoke blowing up their rectums could not handle all the smoke in their rectum. And I would include the Dallas Cowboys on that list.
Oh, we don't have. Why don't you do another read? Read another ad. We don't have to talk about it.
Want to do another one?
Yeah, do a couple more.
Let's talk about rectum smokers. It is the new Smoke Up the Ass app. So you got shut out.
It was really bad for gamblers before we go on the Cowboys. Yeah, if you had you were going to have the Chiefs and the Rams, right? We're going to have the Chiefs and the Rams probably both every week. So we got slaughtered. But I did think the Cowboys, I did not think they'd lose 23-0, but I was a firm believer in this whole, we don't need this game, and God knows Jason Garrett is not going to get the Cowboys up for a game they don't need, and it's going to show. But, there was some nice things that, the defense hadn't allowed a first-quarter touchdown since Week 7. That was out early. The Prescott, that pass and the drop on the was it 3rd and goal, and then they went for it on 4th and goal, that little out route to the fullback, that was bad. And then Zeke gets bottled up. But, bad offensive performance. Not fun watching Dak out there trying to move the ball. And the Colts are all right. They ran all over the Cowboys. That Marlon Mack is good. T.Y. Hilton gets open almost every play.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say other than, Zeke Elliott says, we need this. This is going to be great for us. So a couple more shutouts and think of how great that'll be. Like then we'll be really set. Before I said, like the Cowboys going into this were 8-5, right?
Yeah.
And you had the Eagles who were a 13-point underdog, and the Redskins who were a 7-point underdog.
With Josh Johnson.
The division's going to take care of itself. Both those teams win, and now it's now you have to win a game or two.
The good news is you're home for Tampa next week.
Yeah.
And then you're playing at Giant Stadium in Week 17.
Right.
That is setting up for – that could be a fun game.
At the Giants?
Well, because –
upset?
Yeah, guess what? The Giants fans will be really excited to knock you out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be showing up in force. And you have the whole Saquon thing to worry about because he is the guy. He's almost like the Anthony Davis type NBA player. Like at any game, he could have 48 points and 20 rebounds.
Right.
You just don't know when it is, and you hope it's not your day. It's interesting, though. Washington and Philly play in Week 17. So they're both 7-7. Washington's at Tennessee. Philly's home for Houston.
Yep. And
then they play each other in Washington in Week 17.
Well, if the Cowboys beat Tampa, Philly can't catch the Cowboys, I don't think. Right?
Can Washington catch them, though?
Washington, I don't know what that tiebreaker goes because they're both 9-7, you're saying?
What if it's a 3-way? I guess it can't be because Washington, it's impossible for.
Yeah. But you're right. If it goes Cowboys-Giants and they need that game, you're going to see Odell's going to play no matter what kind of injury he's been nursing the last month or so. And that's going to be a very tough road game to win.
And then New Orleans now in the driver's seat for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
They are at Carolina Monday night and then home for Pittsburgh and home for Carolina. Rams are at Zona, home for San Francisco. The Rams really pooped the bed in this.
This is the everybody's beatable week, right? This is what we learned from usually you learn something, you take something from every week.
Yeah.
Everybody's beatable.
I will say Collinsworth made a great point. He was talking about how the Rams are just starting to get banged up now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a lot of depth because of the way they approached this season where they kind of went all in on these guys. And he made the point, like, this is why Belichick, year after year after year, he cares about the depth more than going all in on guys. Because it's like injuries happen every year. And by week 16, 17, 18, you're not playing the best 22 guys in your team anymore. You're now dipping into the next 15 guys.
Right.
And I don't know enough about the Rams personnel to have an opinion on what kind of danger zone they're in right now. But I do know that they don't have anyone even remotely close to Gurley when he's banged up.
Mm-hmm.
And they missed Cooper Kupp. I actually thought they weren't going to miss him.
I was just going to say that's the big thing. They haven't been the same since he's been out.
They haven't. And then defensively, we always say this with football. You just need to kind of get it going in January. But they look a lot more vulnerable than I expected.
I'm disappointed in Wade Phillips. I don't know, and especially with a keep to lead back in the last couple of weeks. I don't know what that team is doing defensively. Like they're not applying any pressure that you would think against these teams, against Foles. Like get them rattled. I don't know.
But it's the run games that you look at the Eagles. They just have, I would say, one of the worst running back crews in the league. And they're running the ball on the Rams. That's embarrassing. Like Wendell Smallwood.
Didn't you trade Chris Carson? He ends up being a pivotal player in our fantasy playoffs now.
I guess. He wouldn't have helped me today.
He helped the other team. Bench is gonna be mad at you.
No, he really shouldn't be. This is it. I know I say this every year, but I really think this is it. I think I'm done.
Oh, stop!
I had the best fantasy team I've had in 11 years, and right now, every guy in my team has played, and I'm at 62.5 points.
Well, hold on. But that's not saying the whole story. You're at 62.55. Your opponent is at 62.5. He has Drew Brees. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. If Drew Brees gets kidnapped before tomorrow by aliens, I have a chance. Or if he's warming up before the game and something pops in his elbow. Like it's really fantasy miracle time. But I mean, I'm not the only one who got murdered by this. This is why fantasy football is so stupid. I had Adam Thielen and Keenan Allen who had a combined 2 points.
Yeah.
I had Jared Goff who threw for 340 yards and somehow had like 15 points. I had George Kittle at 5 points. I had Damon Williams on my bench for 24 points. I just hate fantasy football, Sal. I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy it. Why do I do it?
Didn't you?
What's fun about it?
You ran a poll that said, I know this wouldn't have mattered either, but you asked, and it was more of a humble brag. Look, I got Phillip Rivers. I got Tom
No, it was
Brady.
not a humble brag.
I got Jared Goff. Who
didn't know who to start. I didn't know who to start out of those three.
And then the public told you to start Philly Rivers, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, but he only had like 21 points.
There's a 7-point difference. We would have been able to watch the first quarter tomorrow.
I hate fantasy football. I put up, me and Hench had the two best teams this year. Neither of us are going to break 70.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Screw this fake sport. I'm in for daily fantasy now. That's it.
It is bad.
I'm turning my soul over to FanDuel.
By the way, speaking of Todd Gurley, the greatest fantasy player that was traded away in our league, what is he doing? Not getting out of bounds there. But two players didn't get out of bounds in that last drive. Is he really cutting it in, thinking he's going to score there? What was that?
What do you think the Eagles could get for Wentz? Could they get 2 firsts for him?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
by the way,
the Cowboys might take him from 2 firsts.
All I have, the Eagles took my Super Bowl. Their fans are obnoxious, and now my team isn't going to win the Super Bowl this year either. All I have is to start fake Wentz trade rumors. I'm just going to create a series of fake email accounts and just go on different Reddit sites and pretend I know people.
I like that.
I'm hearing this. I just want to cause tension. I would trade Wentz.
Yeah, do that. The Raiders offered 2 1s. They have 4 1s. They offered 2 for Wentz. That's pretty good.
Hey, Wentz can't stay in the field. Nick Foles has God with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the guy in Hoosiers who he does the prayer before he goes in. What was that guy's name? Not Fletch. Strap. He has his hand in the huddle a little extra, and then he goes. He's crashing the boards because God's with him. Nick Foles, God behind him, man. You can't stop that. I don't know. They look like a different team.
On me, that's for sure.
They look like a different team. Kevin Clark has this weird theory that Kevin Clark, I'm sure he's talking about this on the Ringer NFL show, that when there's a 15% chance for something to happen, that's usually like the sign it's actually going to happen. And the Eagles had a 15% chance to make the playoffs heading into that game.
Oh, wow.
He said his other cases were Donald Trump, the Pats being down 28-3 in the Super Bowl, and there was like 3 others. But he was like, it's his 15%.
Is he saying exactly 15?
It has to be 15%. If the win probability or the odds or whatever is 15%, that means it's going to happen.
Is he keeping track of the other times it loses, overwhelmingly?
He doesn't talk about those times.
All right.
He just talks about when it happens. By the way, as we're taping this, the Miss Universe pageant is on Fox right now, and Steve Harvey's hosting.
Oh, is it really?
How Steve Harvey had the biggest screw up in the history of television on the show.
Yeah.
And don't you lose your job for that?
No, that's the only reason anyone's tuning in is to see if he does it again, right?
You know why I put it on? Because nephew Kyle, his on again, off again girlfriend, who for some reason it's now on again, she just left. And the Pats lost, and he's a little down in the dumps. And what's really keeping his spirits up
Venezuela.
right now,
it's Miss Venezuela.
Miss Venezuela is really keeping his
really?
His spirits up. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't want they wear like trench coats now, right? You don't ever see any of them.
Yeah, well, the trench coat competition, they just had it actually. It was great.
They did?
Yeah, Miss Venezuela got the highest score.
Harry on Against the Odds last week or a couple weeks ago gave out Miss Thailand at like 30-1, and when she went down to 16-1, he considered it a huge victory, but I don't think she was even close to placing in it.
He had thoughts on the Miss Universe pageant?
Yeah, he did a little more research than he probably should have.
How do you research the Miss Universe pageant?
I don't know. He has some affliction with Thailand. He liked it.
We all went out to dinner to celebrate the Against All Odds years. You were gracious enough to take out the producers and a couple other people. And then Harry told us the story of how your friend Ken fired him and then rehired him and fired him. And they were on the phone for 10 straight hours. And we talked about this probably for 45 minutes straight at dinner, trying to figure out how 2 grown men could be on the phone together for 10 hours. And we didn't come up with a resolution, is why I bring it up.
I should let you know, I approached Ken with this, and I told him it was 10, and he was very upset that Harry's going around telling people it was 10 when it was 7 hours.
It was 7 hours.
I want to make that clarification. These 2 grown men spoke on the phone for 7 hours. They're friends from college. One works for the other now, but they yelled at each other for 7 hours. And one was in Hawaii.
And then, and then Ken was upset that you talked about this on your podcast.
Yeah, right.
But now we're talking about it on my podcast too.
Right. Well,
so now he's going to be really upset.
He's going to be even more upset when we hit the Parent Corner feature, but you'll like it.
So anyway, that was a highlight, and I'm glad I should have had Harry on and talk about the Miss Universe thing. Do you have a great call of the week?
I don't know if it's great, but I think, do you want to set this up or what do we?
Yeah, sure. I'll set it up. Whatever. Crown Royal is doing something pretty cool this football season. They launched a responsible drinking campaign called the Water Break. It's about encouraging people to hydrate between drinks for a better experience, whether at the game, watching at home, or in the bar. Have a great time. Enjoy some Crown. Don't be that person that ruins it for everyone. We've all seen that guy who drank too much watching the game. Make the right call. Take a water break. What do you got for the right call this week?
Well, the right call, the wrong call is not going, and I like this all the time when a team changes offensive coordinators. The next game, they usually break out. And that's what the freaking Vikings did. 41-17. They beat the Dolphins. My right call goes to the Vikings front office. They get rid of John DeFilippo. They replace him with Kevin Stefanski. They love this guy. He's been the quarterback coach for a while. They stopped him from going with Pat Shurmur to the Giants. 36 years old. He's going to be a head coach in the league next year. He'll probably go to the Browns or the Jets, maybe the Bucks, but he's very good with young quarterbacks. And the Vikings front office, they get my good call of the week.
Okay.
Probably should have been on the Vikings today. So bad.
I had a little on the Dolphins, not knowing that Kenny Stills was out. The line was so high, I got suspicious, and I had to throw a little token parlay.
So bad watching Tannehill. But
my right call of the week goes to myself. We were at a party. You were there. It was Wednesday night. And
Thursday night. Yeah.
No, Wednesday night, our agent, James Baby Doll Dixon. Wasn't it?
What
Wednesday
do you mean?
night?
Oh, that part. Yeah. Lots of parties. Yeah. Okay.
Wednesday night, all the extended Kimmel family was at this. It was a work party. Who had the party?
What do you mean? Who was there?
Jimmy's production partner.
Yeah. Wheelhouse.
Yeah, Wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hanging out with James Baby Doll Dixon. He's had a couple.
Mm-hmm.
See Maverick Carter coming toward us, LeBron's business partner. He hasn't even reached our circle yet, and Baby Doll's probably 3 people away. And I think I said it to you. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else. But I'm pretty sure it was you. Wasn't you? Or maybe it was Lewis.
I don't know. What'd you say?
I predicted that Baby Doll would tell Maverick Carter that they've met before, get upset when Maverick Carter couldn't remember meeting him before, and then spend the next 3 minutes berating him how, no, you remember, and just go over and over again how they'd met before, which is a move that he's done over and over again, most famously with Oprah Winfrey and Jimmy Kimmel's dressing room that time. Can you do that story before I continue this one?
All I remember from that is he was trying to get in Oprah's good graces and said, "You met me before, right? I was with Jon Stewart." The other game we play is how long it takes for him when he's talking to someone important before he brings up Jon Stewart. So it's usually about 18, 19 seconds. But you remember me, baby. I was on with Jon Stewart. I brought him by.
Yeah, I represent him.
Okay, yeah, I represent him. And she's like, all right, okay. Oh, the other thing is I'm going to Africa this summer. And she's like, why would I care? You make schools there and stuff, right? So, yeah, that's his typical greeting to celebrities.
So he introduces himself to Maverick. Maverick says, hey, Maverick makes the fatal mistake of saying, hey, it's nice to meet you, which sets Baby off. And he does no, we've met before. We met before like 3 years ago. It starts. And, Maverick is LeBron's business partner. He meets a lot of people. And Baby, for some reason, thinks that when he meets people, it's this life-altering experience and they can remember the time and the place and all the circumstances around it. So then the next 3 minutes were him explaining to Maverick the last time they met, which I'm pretty sure is the second most boring conversation you can hear anybody have other than complaining about their fantasy team, which I just did 10 minutes ago. So I don't have a point. My point is my right call of the week was being able to sense it before it even developed. Maverick wasn't even over yet, and I knew what Baby was going to do, and I was really proud of myself.
Poor Maverick. And by the way, this goes to anyone out there. It's so easy. All you have to do is say, nice to see you, and that covers everything. Like, oh, yeah, nice to see you. Oh,
yeah, nice to see you leaves it open that you might have met them before.
May have met you. Maybe this is the first time we're meeting. It's fine. Covers everything.
Well, my issue is I basically have meeting Alzheimer's. I have no idea who I met, and I barely remember what I did 6 hours ago. But somehow I can remember all of Larry Bird's 125 best games.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Anyway.
Well, it was a good call.
Crown Royal reminds everyone this football season to take a water break, hydrate responsibly, and then to nod when Baby Doll Dixon says to you, we've met before. Just say, oh, yeah, I remember that. And that's it. You don't have to listen to it for the next 3 minutes. So there you go. Let's quickly go over the playoff picture.
Right.
Houston is now the 2 seed, Sal.
Yeah, that's got to be rough for you.
Houston's going to get a fucking bye. They suck. And the Pats suck too, but Houston, Jesus.
Well, they won 10.
What do they do?
They won 10 of 11.
What do they do?
Yeah.
They have one receiver and a pass rush, and the quarterback can scramble around every once in a while. Congratulations.
That's more than you do, right? You Patriots?
Well, we have 5 Super Bowl banners last time I checked.
I know.
There's a lot of glee right now about the fall of the Patriots. And it reminds me of the scene At the End of This Boy's Life with Leo DiCaprio, your favorite actor.
Yeah.
When he drives away with Ellen Barkin, they finally escape the abusive stepfather played by Robert De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
And they leave, and he stands on the porch and he screams, "You'll remember me! You'll remember me!" That's how I feel about the Patriots. You'll remember us.
That's how Baby Doll was with Maverick Carter. Having a New York accent. Yeah.
So Casey is.
When do we see New England play? I think I watched it with you at my house, but when was the last time they played? They'll get a Saturday night game. I know I shouldn't count them out as a bye. They could still get a bye easily, but if they're a 3 seed, when was the last time they played that first weekend?
Usually they get the Saturday night. I think they played. Man, I don't remember. I thought they've had a bye every week for like 9 years.
But that Saturday night might have been a second round game. We're remembering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's usually not a good sign if we can't get a bye. That means something's gone wrong. So they're the 3 seed right now. Pittsburgh is 8-5-1. So they are a half game back at New Orleans, home Cincy. The Chargers still with a puncher's chance of maybe, I don't know, maybe getting the 1 seed here. Because if Kansas City loses to Seattle this week, the Chargers beat Baltimore at home. The Chargers are now the 1 seed.
I'm
so
done
they go
with
from
them.
5-1.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that. That was one of my worst gambling losses.
I was stuck in traffic pulling up to the Ringer party Thursday night, and I'm watching on my phone, and I just threw the phone into the back seat. I didn't even know if anyone was there, but I was so mad at that game. I'm not betting against them the rest of the year.
They seem to get going when they're down in a way that is usually a good sign for the playoffs.
When they're down, how about when Keenan Allen, the best receiver, is out?
Oh my!
What are the odds with that? In play.
That was really when my fantasy season ended. When he tried to catch a ball over his head and landed. When the receiver immediately grabs their hip and starts running like Fred Sanford, it's usually a bad sign.
The hip is a bad one. Yeah.
But yeah, that Mike Williams was incredible in that game.
Mm-hmm. Pushed off a little towards the end.
I gotta say, Rivers. Wow. We talked. I saw you Wednesday night, and we talked about Rivers MVP, and it was like 22-1.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through the whole thing, and you still think Breeze is going to win regardless. But I don't know. This could be the Rivers season.
It's nice odds now that you have good value in that, but he's not passing. But Breeze has like 8-9 percentage better for completion percentage.
Do you think
one less loss?
Do you think Rivers is going to announce when he's done playing?
What do you mean? You think it'll just happen?
No, it struck me. I was watching SportsCenter that night, and they interviewed him, and he's got a really good personality, and he's really candid. There's something about him. I was thinking about him versus I saw a lot of Jason Witten interviews over the last 12 years.
You're thinking of a replacement in the ESPN booth?
No, I never watched Jason Witten and thought to myself, wow, that guy would be really fun to listen to him call a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Rivers, I think, would be really good at it if he threw himself into it.
Yeah,
he's got a good personality. I'm saying 5 years from
now. Why
now.
are we even talking about that? He's one of the top quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for replacements.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other guy.
It sounds like half a joke when you say it, but having 8 kids and saying, oh, nothing phases him. He has 8 kids. Yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah.
He kind of plays like a guy with 8 kids. Doesn't care what's going on around him.
Yeah. Bobby fell off the jungle gym. He'll be fine. Wipe off the blood, Bobby.
Yeah, let me sidearm another 30-yard touchdown here.
Yeah, I was thinking about announcers because Romo has been such a revelation. He was fun to do the Pats game today, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday, Nate Burleson was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was that first team. Was it Mariucci was the third guy?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
very enjoyable. Really, I thought Nate was excellent, especially considering that was his first time.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to get some new blood. I have a feeling like you're just not allowed to get fired once you get an announcing job, basically.
Right.
You say it's like being a tenured professor. I don't know how long. God bless Dick Stockton and some of these guys, but I don't know how long we have to have the same announcers. Let's get some new blood in there.
Well, speaking of not being able to fire anybody, you wanted to, I don't know if you still want to, but you threatened to defend Stephen A. Smith on this podcast.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Go ahead.
That's good. Should we take a break first?
I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, let's take a break, and then I'm going to defend Stephen A. Hey, let's talk about Simply Safe. You got all those presents under the tree. You're going to want to protect them. Thank God for the holidays. All the tech deals come out now. If you've been waiting for that, you made a smart move. Go to simplysafe.com/BS. You can take advantage of their amazing holiday offer. They really rarely do anything like this, but they're doing it just for our listeners. Great protection for your home and family. They don't make you sign a contract. There's no hidden fees. They're getting great reviews. CNET, PC Mag, Wirecutter all say Simply Safe is the best security system there is. If you're looking for a security system and want a great deal, go to simplysafe.com/BS to get the offer. Make sure you use that URL because it helps the show and it makes me feel better about myself. That's simplysafe.com/BS. Simply Safe with 2 eyes. Hurry. This offer ends soon. And since we're here, check out The Big Picture, our movie podcast, which is heading into the Oscars home stretch. Sean Fennessy has a bunch of directors, actors, producers, Ringer people, movie critics, you name it, they're all in there. Subscribe now. The Big Picture, our movie podcast. You're going to want it over these next, 2 months. There you go. All right. We were talking about Stephen A., how he screwed up with the Chiefs and the Chargers game and did this breakdown, and he had a linebacker who wasn't on the Chiefs anymore covering a tight end who was out for the season. It was a problem. I'm not going to lie. But listen, I've kind of gone up and down on Stephen A. over the years, and I think the last couple of years, I think he has hit a zone where he's one of the most entertaining sports media personalities of all time. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe that he can go on the last 15 minutes of Get Up, go on First Take, and do that show, which is really hard to talk in those long monologues for 2+ hours. Then he goes right to a radio show. He does his own radio show by himself for another 2 hours. And then he's like available to do boxing. He's available to go on location for every NBA playoff game. He's at the finals. The guy is like a take machine. Mm-hmm. And my point is, every once in a while, you're going to get some names messed up or forget something or maybe try to cheat one game that you weren't able to prepare for. And I think the man deserves some slack.
All right. I buy that. And I buy that anyone, like I do 5 hours of live sports talk television a week.
Yeah.
And I certainly swallow my words probably once a day. But to get 4 things wrong makes you think that at first I thought like a researcher was screwing with him and just like, hey, I'm going to hand him this from 2016 because it would have made sense from 2016.
Maybe that's what happened. So
Eric Johnson, Hensler, Henry, he said San Diego Chargers, whatever. Everyone says that. Spencer Ware. But then to defend it, first of all, he only defended one of them. He said, oh, no. All right. So I said Hunter Henry. I meant Virgil Green. Virgil Green? Who is that? Like, what? That guy he's not having a good year either. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who is he anyway? Is that Ted DiBiase's guy? I don't even know who that is. But I don't know. It just seems, I agree with you. I think he's spread too thin. And what are they going to make him do MMA too when the UFC goes to ESPN? Like maybe he doesn't have to do everything. ESPN has people in holding deals that aren't doing anything. They give him $1 million. So why do you have to have him on 17 different shows?
Can I make a counter?
Of course, yeah.
It's really fun to watch Stephen A. on TV.
Only when he's doing things like he did last week.
He comes on the last 15 minutes to Get Up, and he pulls out the Jalen on TV that I want on TV.
I see. All right.
He has a way of tapping into people and getting them fired up. He is the master now of the dramatic pause. He does
the dramatic everything, yeah.
I'm going to do the Stephen A. dramatic pause right now. Don't think that my microphone cut out. Let me tell you something right now, Sal Icano. Phillip Rivers. And then he just goes. Like he really knows how to use silence as a weapon.
Do you think he's taking a nap in the dramatic pause? Because he is spread thin, like you said.
He's a little spread thin.
Time to himself.
If every once in a while he has a massive screw up and gets made fun of for 24 hours, I still think it's worth the risk of having Stephen A. on TV for 7 hours a day.
Got you.
I think I used
a dramatic pause between Spencer Ware and Hunter Henry somewhere in there. Thought about it.
I think I used to joke in the mid 2000s that at one point ESPN was going to have a channel that was just Stephen A. Smith in all caps. Yeah. It might actually happen, but no, I think he's their best guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I really do.
Guess what? They think he's their best guy too. He's on every single minute.
I'll tell you another thing. I would put him on the NBA show.
Really?
Yeah. I just have him on all the time.
Give him a podcast if you like him so much.
I got to have him on. I'm Stephen A. I'm inviting you on. I remember I had him when I was still at Grantland. He came on when I was at South by Southwest, I think.
Yeah.
And he was awesome on the podcast. And that made me think, because I'd gotten to know him a little bit for being at the finals. Mm-hmm. And that made me think there was more, this was less of a full-time shtick than I think people think. I think he has different levels he can go to.
Well, he's good. He's a good podcast guy. You could read your ZipRecruiter ads during his dramatic pauses. So. Works nicely.
NFC playoff picture really quickly. New Orleans in the lead. Rams 2. Bears looking like locked in at 3 unless the Rams just keep falling apart.
Yeah.
Your team in the inside track on 4. Seattle looking good for at least a wild card. Minnesota 7-6-1. They got at Detroit, home Chicago. Washington and Philly both 7-7. Carolina not out of it, but they have to beat the Saints tomorrow.
Absolutely have to win tomorrow. And then they have the Saints again last week, right?
And that's it. Everybody else is crossed off, I think.
We can finally cross the Packers off, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. And Denver, who else are we crossing off? The AFC? Yeah, that's
God, thank God they got rid of Mike McCarthy.
I know. It was big.
It was all his fault. All right. Week 16. We have no Thursday game. The Thursday game is gone.
All right, good. I'm proud of you. Got it. You nailed it.
Yeah. We got 2 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is home for the Redskins of Washington. Josh Johnson looking to get a terrible contract from some dumb GM in March. He might be getting $40 million from somebody. I have the Titans by 7.5 over Washington.
Yeah, I went big. I said 9, and it's 10.
Jesus.
Well, Jaguars are favored by 7, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird.
Not
I guess
sure.
The Redskins are still in, so that's double digits is maybe a little high.
Tennessee is one of a swollen list of teams I would not want to be laying more than a touchdown with.
You don't?
Yeah, because if they fall down 14-6 or something, do you feel like they're coming back?
Well, I don't know how they can fall down 14-6 with the most electrifying player in football. I mean, I'm deathly afraid of Derrick Henry in the playoffs if he makes it.
Yeah, it's weird that they wait forever to just turn the entire team over to him, and then when they do, all hell breaks loose.
33 carries today?
Yeah.
What the hell goes on?
It feels like it should be 33 carries every game.
Yeah.
Our other game is a good one. San Diego is home.
Oh, San Diego, huh?
Yeah. San Diego. You heard me. They're playing the Baltimore Ravens in San Diego.
All right.
I have the San Diego Chargers favored by 6.
All right, I'm beating it. That's 2 for me. I said 3.5. It's 4.5.
That's too low. It's
really
really hard.
What do you think, Vegas? I thought it was too low when the Chiefs were laying only 3 to them, and now, I guess I like Baltimore on the road.
It's really hard for Baltimore to score.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 20 points, and so they have to keep the Chargers in that 17 to 20 range, and I'm just not sure they're capable of that unless all hell breaks loose. One thing should we make a case for the Chargers might be better off doing this on the road? I mean, obviously you want the bye. You felt that today with the Rams, right? There's like 40,000 Eagles fans there. Yeah. I mean, I looked at you look online at Chargers Chiefs fans or attendance and hit Google Images, and that's a sea of red. Like that was, it couldn't have had more a better home game. I don't know. I just don't trust them at home as much as I do on the road. I agree. I'm with you. Sunday, the marquee game is the New Orleans Saints hosting Ben Roethlisberger and his cracked ribs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Saints by 6. Yeah, you nailed it exactly. I said 5, but I thought 6 was a little high, but we'll see. That's a short week. I guess it's an emotional win for the Steelers this week too. So. Did you like the running back the Steelers had today or James Conner? I don't know why. I like everyone better than Le'Veon Bell, but I like Conner when he was at his best. Which one do you like? I like Samuels. I thought he was shiftier. Kyle likes Conner more. We were arguing about it when we were watching the game. I do. Connor's a more bruiser type back in January. I would like to see. Well, the reason I bring it up is I actually think they should be playing both of them, and that could be dangerous if they get in there, if they kind of try to reinvent themselves as more of a running team. because their running attack has not been stealth this year. I think they were like in the bottom 5 for a running game this year.
I don't know how they be with that. I mean, Brown caught the touchdown, but did he have more than 50 yards?
No, we shut him down. Our defense, we had this undrafted rookie cornerback, Jackson, who's been playing really well. Defense is actually, the pass defense has been good. It's been the run defense that hasn't been as good.
Even Smith-Schuster had 40. That's weird.
Kyle's
sorry.
Kyle's upset about the game.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's all right, Kyle. We'll be fine. The watchables, I only have one. Houston at Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the week to clean up against Houston. I think they're favored by 2.5. And I'm ready to lose money again by going against them.
All right. Well, I had 4, and then I changed it after the game. I said, that's nuts. It's too high now. Philly's back in it. I changed it to 2.5. It's 3.5, so we're going to split that.
I had 4 as well, and then I changed it after the Eagles game.
You don't care.
Nick Foles, man.
Yeah, that was a scary team today. That was scary. You want to keep betting against Houston, you might be on your own here.
Do you think Wentz, has he bought a house, you think? Think he owns his own house? No, do you think he owns his own house and just like, I'm going to be here for the next 15 years?
Oh, I don't know.
That kind of thing? Man.
Interesting.
It's getting awkward with Wentz.
Yeah, he could maybe he takes the Eagles plus 9.5 on the teaser. You can buy a bigger house with another team.
What if the Giants offer them whatever pick they end up with this year, next year's first, and then the year after that's first for Wentz? 3 firsts for Wentz. Eagles can keep Nick Foles.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think the Giants just suck next year again and then wait for another class to come through.
The Eagles trade him in the AFC if they trade him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. The Dolphins wouldn't want him.
What about Jacksonville?
Oh, Jacksonville. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacksonville, Jalen Ramsey, Jacksonville's first, and then 2 more first-round picks.
Perfect.
That's done. Nick Foles, pack your bags.
Do that.
We're going with God and Nick Foles.
You know what would be funny if I know this is what you want to do. You want to spread a fake trade rumor, but you should say Kevin Clark reporting. Jacksonville offered 2 ones and Jalen Ramsey.
We should have a fake ringer reporter who's not actually a real human being.
Yeah, right.
Like Jack Klonsman reports. Wow. I think Fultz and Carson Wentz are going to be on the same bus out of Philly together. Barely watchables. We have a bunch. Next week's not a very fun week of football. I got to be honest. Patriots home for the Bills. The Patriots are going to be favored by way too high, and I'm worried about this game because I think it's going to be hard for them to move the ball on Buffalo's defense. I think Buffalo has a good defense. Buffalo's a year away from being something. In my opinion.
They were last year away from being.
Well, the last year was a fluke.
The year was
though.
last year. It's 2017.
No, that was stupid though. I'm saying they might actually be a good team next year.
Yeah.
I have the Pats by 11.5.
Yeah, I guess they haven't had a running back all year. McCoy's been screwing around.
They have no skill position players. You don't know who any of those guys are.
I have 13, and it's 12.5. Yeah, they played good for a guy. Actually, quit on them this year at halftime. They're not that terrible. But I'll tell you what is terrible, that AFC East. And people got on my case like, hey, why didn't you say anything to Simmons when he said you were giving me shit about it? Thank God the Cowboys play in a horrific division.
Yeah.
Well, your team's played in one for like 16, 17 years now.
So what's your point, Sal?
My point is you're now going to beat the Bills and you're going to beat the Jets. And Houston's going to lose a stupid game and you're going to get the 2 seed. That's my point. I
like how people on Twitter were giving you shit as opposed to like all the good people on Twitter who have just kind things to pass along.
There are a few naysayers. You wouldn't believe it.
Dear Sal, I just want to tell you I really enjoy your podcast. Keep doing what you do. Not a tweet you'll see very often. Hey, Sal, why don't you stand up to fucking Simmons? His division sucks. Fuck you.
It seemed like an easy one. Yeah. I don't know.
Cowboys home for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I hate this game.
I'd hate it too. Bucks were hanging around in that Ravens game. They couldn't. really put it together, but they were lingering. I have
It seems like. Oh, go ahead. Take your guess. What is
I have the Cowboys by 8.
I said 7.5, and it's 7. It's probably around right. It just doesn't seem like Jameis could hit that little. I don't know, that post route to Evans at midfield. I feel like it's open a lot.
Yeah.
And then just goes away from it, and it just disappears or gets sacked like 2 out of 6 plays.
I think he is going to be the star of one of the spring football leagues in like 2 years. They're going to build it around him. Probably the Charlie Ebersol League. Vikings.
I like it.
By the way, a lot of scary underdogs in this like 6 to 8 point range this week from a money line standpoint. We should think about that.
Yeah.
A lot of tease killers. Vikings are in Detroit.
This should be another one.
I didn't even know about this, but for some reason I was watching the Lions-Bills game, and they were talking about the Lions did something with Matt Stafford where they're pushing their fans to vote for him for the Pro Bowl, and people got really upset because he's had such a shitty season, and it turned into like a social media thing.
The Lions, Matt Stafford,
yeah,
for Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
Really?
the Lions did something about vote for him. Here's the link. And then people were like, fuck you, Matt Stafford. You're not going to believe this, but people on Twitter took umbrage.
Oh, no.
People on Twitter were upset about it. But
haven't the Lions done enough for him? They gave him a 9-figure contract, and he's third or fourth best quarterback in the division.
But, I mean, the irony is Matt Stafford will be at the Pro Bowl after the first 7 guys drop out. And
there
he
you go.
gets a free
You're right.
on vacation. I have the Vikings by 3.5 over the Lions.
I said the same thing, 3.5. It's 5. I'm not betting the Lions, but that might be a good spot for them.
Kirk Cousins is just dying to screw the Viking fans.
Yeah.
Even today, they're up 21-0, and he throws the pick 6 just to keep everybody on their toes for a little bit.
No one
He's like, watch this. Oh, you think you have this? Colts home for the Giants. This is another red flag tease killer game. Colts looking great. Giants look awful. And yet Saquon on turf is a little scary. I have the Colts by 8.
I said 7, and you get it. It's 9. Way high.
Oh, bonus after the Colts game today, they actually interviewed Andrew Luck.
No, they did?
Yeah, we don't even have to do it this week.
That.
No, we don't even have to do it. Anyone who saw the game, it was a great team effort. And he did that whole thing. It was fantastic.
Oh, he did do it. All
yeah,
right.
He did it. He did the whole thing. I'm very proud of the guys.
I like him. Let me tell you, the NFL is dying to make Indy at Tennessee the Sunday night game, Week 17. So,
what is it going to be?
Indy plays Tennessee Week 17, and that seems to be the only game that could matter if both those teams are playing one of them is playing for a wild card. But a lot of stuff has to happen. Ravens have to start losing.
My wife thinks that my Andrew Luck impersonation sounds like my Jackson Maine impersonation.
Let's hear I didn't hear the Jackson impersonation.
Hold on, I got to find a Star is Born quote.
You have to find it?
Well, look, talent comes everywhere, but having something to say and a way to say it to how people listen to it, that's a whole other bag. That's my Jackson Maine impersonation. What'd you think?
I don't think it does.
I don't think I saw the movie
because I could actually hear the Andrew the Giant Luck impersonation.
Look at me. All you got to do is trust me. That's all you got to do.
It's close.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
It's
Jackson Maine's a work in progress. You got to do it deep in your throat.
Yeah.
So I don't want to step on the luck. I guess I have to choose. I don't think I can do both. Panthers are home for the Falcons. I have the Panthers by 6.
6?
Yeah.
I said 4. It's 3.5.
Oh, don't get carried away with the Falcons because they beat that terrible Cardinals team today. Come on.
Well, listen. One's going to be 5-9. The other's going to be 6-8. How many points did they lay?
You don't think the Panthers at least throw a couple haymakers in this Saints game?
I did think they cover. I think they keep it close.
Yeah, I think
they'll
bring.
Hate what they do.
They'll bring some brass knuckles to the ring.
Listen, but what are we going to? Cam's injured. He's playing through injury.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just think this is like a kitchen sink brass knuckles game. He takes some swings. I still think the Saints win, but I don't think the Panthers go down quietly.
Yeah.
Bears, Niners, man. I got to say, Mullins was good in that game. He made a lot of he overthrew, of course, George Kittle, because George Kittle's on my fantasy team. It would have been a 70-yard touchdown. But other than that, he moved around. He took some big hits. He hit his check down dudes. He hit some guys downfield. I was impressed. I thought
20
he was pretty
for 29, 275.
Yeah.
You know, Kittle was the heaviest player ever to have 200-plus yards receiving last week. Heaviest player ever.
Heaviest?
I think, yeah. What is he, like 270 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
He's fast.
He is. He's probably the fastest tight end, too.
I was impressed. I was impressed by the Niners. I liked the bald defensive coordinator too. It was a lot of great fist pumps from him.
Oh yeah.
Who's that guy? Is he a coaching candidate?
I think it's my friend Harry. Yeah.
I have the Bears by 11 in San Francisco.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It's in San Francisco.
Bears by 11. I'm staying with it.
Oh my God, we may have to discontinue this podcast.
Yeah.
Bears by 5.5. I said it's 3.5.
What?
Yeah. They won the division. They don't. They're not going to give it their all here.
Hold on. Yeah, they can still get a 2 seed though.
What was Seattle? Seattle was 3.5, 4.
Yeah, but the Bears their defense is unbelievable.
I guess they should be higher than Seattle. Maybe it's a little low, but 11. Come on.
Yeah, 11 was dumb. I love how you're uprating me. I've beaten you like 7 straight years. How dare you?
Maybe this is my week. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm going to beat you this week. What else you got?
Bears. So what was the Bears line? 3.5?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look, it was pouring rain in that Niners game. Yeah. Every dumb thing that could have happened against the Seahawks happened, and it still went to overtime. And the Seahawks had the ball. They get a holding penalty in the kick. Oh, the guy fumbled the kickoff.
Right.
Start at the 14. They get a play down the sideline that somehow gets called back. That was ridiculous. I don't think
Denver. I'm not going to lose 3 weeks in a row with this team. I'm sorry. I had them against Denver, or Denver against them. Seattle. Enough's enough.
I think the Bears win this game by double digits. And I'm going to remind you that you laughed at my minus 11.
Trubisky's a poor man's Nick Mullins. And I don't even know if his first name is Nick. I was just guessing.
4 teams in the poop fecta. We're going to go with, first of all, the Cleveland Browns at home for Cincinnati. I have the Browns by 8.5. I went high on this one.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
You went slightly high. I had 6. I went low, but I'm closer because it's 7. But the Browns are 6-7-1 and a 7-point favorite in a division game. That's astounding.
The Browns were a Hugh Jackson firing away from making the playoffs.
Yeah.
If it had happened like 3 weeks earlier, I really think they would have made it.
Which game could they have won? So the Raiders, that's the one, the glaring one. They lost in overtime to the Raiders and obviously tied the Steelers, a game I think
the Steeler tie was egregious.
Right.
There was another one too they should have won.
They should be 8-6 right now.
Yeah, their record does not reflect the talent of that team and the games that they've played. Miami is home.
They lost to New Orleans 21-18.
They should have won that game though, remember?
Yeah. Lost to Tampa Bay in overtime 26-23.
Another stupid one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one game where their kicker murdered them, but I don't remember which one that was. Miami is home for the Jaguars. I have Miami by 4.
You get this one, 4.5. I said 6. That's a stay away of all stayaways.
2 Florida teams. Ugh.
Enough.
Packers at the Jets. Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers. 2 ships passed in the night, going in different directions. One's going north, one's going south. I don't need to tell you which one's going south. Packers, I have -4 against the Jets.
I said 4 also. Vegas is not done taking Packer backer money. 2.5. Baiting you to take Green Bay here. Begging.
I like the Jets. Last one, Rams at Arizona. The Arizona is awful. I think Arizona is the worst team in the league right now just because of the injuries. I have the Rams by 11.5 in Arizona.
Yeah, you get this one. I only said 9.5. I don't know. There's something about it, that Rams team I didn't like today. But it's 13.5. They have to win that, right?
Yeah, they're gonna win this.
Patriots have to win. That's 2 wins.
Yeah. Let's take one more break, then we'll do the last 2. Let's take a break to talk about FanDuel. If you're like me, your fantasy season is dead. It's over. Well, at least we have daily fantasy. Go to FanDuel. Get the excitement of researching and building your team each week, regardless of the outcome. You don't get your feelings hurt by players that you felt like were part of your family for the last 4 months, and then they disgrace themselves and ruin your weekend. FanDuel has never been more fun or easy to play. Trust me, I've tried other DFS sites before if you're not a fantasy expert. This is where you want to be. You get a $5 bonus when you make your first deposit. Pick a new fantasy team every week. This is my only chance to play fantasy next week. I promise you I'll be doing it. Come play with me at FanDuel.com/BS. New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For full eligibility rules and terms and conditions, go to FanDuel.com. And since we're here, wanted to remind you on the Ringer podcast, 2 relatively new podcasts. Ryan Russillo's Dual Threat, which is kind of coming into the home stretch here. We'll see if it's going to keep going through the draft. We've got to negotiate with Ryan and his team of accountants and lawyers. And then Winging It. Vince Carter, Kent Bazemore, Andy Finberg. They had an awesome podcast with Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala last week that made some news. So check that one out as well on the Ringer Podcast Network. All right, Sunday night. KC is in Seattle. This is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I think Seattle is going to be underdogs. And I can't remember how many times Seattle has been an underdog in a night game at home when they've actually had a decent to good team. It has not been many times that's happened. I think the Chiefs will be favored by 3 points.
I said 2.5. Right now it is 2.5. Yeah, this is a tough one. You're going to want to bet the Chiefs in the bounce back game, but Seattle kind of needs to bounce back too. And you're right. I don't know. I don't remember them being an underdog too much, but they did win that night game 2 weeks ago. What were they favored by 3 against the Vikings? Is that a week ago?
Yeah, something like that. I think Damian Williams is really good. I actually think he's better than Spencer Ware. If there's one good thing from that Spencer Ware injury is that they found out that Williams is actually better than him.
Yeah. I wonder how the hell they lost that game still. I don't know, with Williams running well, Mahomes completing ridiculous passes. They still blew it.
Did you see there's a couple bad fake punts today?
Yeah.
The Bears had one. The Bears had a really, or maybe they went for it on 4th and 1. Yeah, the Bears had the fake punt.
It was just a snap to the up back. Yeah.
That was terrible. The Rams ran a really risky one that it looked like the guy actually caught it, but then it hit the ground. That was weird.
I also thought he was all over his back, but
it seemed like
I know it hit the ground, but
this has been a recurring theme on the pod, but there's a recklessness this year. It's coaches trying to be quote unquote aggressive, but now it's just reckless.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it on these 4th and 1s where you're not entirely sure why they're going for it on 4th and 1 and with the team they have and the personnel on the field, and then these weird fake punts, and it's like Peterson has made the whole league crazy. Peterson being like, yeah, fuck it, we're going for it, has infected the whole league, and now everybody thinks they're hot shit. These fake punts, and I don't know.
Who went Saturday night? Oh no, but then Saturday night, did Denver kick a field goal when they should have gone for it? No, I can't remember.
No, but that was stupid though, because I wouldn't have minded that if I felt like their defense was going to stop Cleveland. But I didn't really feel that way. I had Cleveland. I was so happy that Denver kicked the field goal.
But then you don't want you want Baker backed up at the end zone inside his 5. You got the
if you don't get
screaming at you. That's a nice spot to be in, even if you don't make it on 4th down.
Yeah, I thought they should have gone for it, but they settled for the field goal.
Right. Yeah.
On the other hand, I mean, they were down to no receivers left, and Philip Lindsay wasn't doing anything. So I don't know. Last one, Monday night, Broncos at Oakland. Ugh.
Can they flex this one to the preseason next year? Well, we have to watch this.
I'm gonna flex my bowels. That's an awful one. Ugh. I have the Broncos by 6.
Oh wow, you went high. I said 3.5. It's only 2.
Really?
Good week for me, or maybe bad one for you, however you want to look at it.
What's good about Oakland?
They were a little feisty today. I don't know what you could say about it. I didn't watch that game too much, but they seemed in it. It's Driscoll.
Okay. All right, so you kicked my ass this week.
There we go. I just have to win the next 13 weeks, and we tie.
What do you got for Parent Corner?
Oh, Parent Corner. All right, let me set this up. So we went to Corollas to watch football, and we got Brad there and Harry, and my friend Ken says, "Hey, I have to stop over. I'm coming back from Hawaii. Then I have to go to Palm Springs. Where are you watching football?" I'm like, "Well, we're at with Corolla's warehouse." All right, so he goes and he brings like 4 dozen donuts from Hawaii. I don't even remember the name of the place. But they're good. It has like guava cream. He's like, "Oh, you got to taste this guava cream." He's pushing these donuts on everybody. And then our friend Brad comes in, and he's in a bad mood. And
why is he in a bad mood?
Well, I think he owes some money in taxes. And my friend Ken, who knows everything about everything, is like, "Well, let me help you out. What do you have? What's going on?" And he tells them, "I owe X amount. Can I pay this off? What do you think?" They're like, "Well, you have a job. They're probably not going to let you take 10 cents on the dollar since you have a job and you've had a job for years." And he's like, "Why don't you just pay your effing taxes?"
Oh, no.
Brad picks up a handful, passes on the donuts because the donuts were good, but takes a handful of watermelon and throws it at Ken, hits him in the chest. He's like, "Thanks for your fucking advice." And then he goes to walk away, and now it's a scene. Now it's bad, and now I have to separate both of them.
Oh, and, Ken was like ready to fight him?
Oh, yeah, and Brad's calling him names, and Ken's calling Brad names. And
your kids are there?
My kids are there, and this is where it steps in. So we temporarily bring Brad in one. I don't want anyone to go home. Part of me is loving this, but I have to get past this very uncomfortable spot where they want to kill each other,
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone to go home. But Ken's like, "It's either me or him. One of us is leaving." I'm like, "This is just going to be bad if one of them has to leave." But it kind of has to be Brad because he committed an assault, kind of, and is still angry.
It's a watermelon assault.
Yeah, well, he'll throw watermelon on Sunday. Yeah, my wife, I told her to get fruit, and I said, "Don't get watermelon. It's gamey." But she got watermelon anyway. I don't want to blame her, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Brad's in the other room, and Ken was like, "Ken, listen, how about if you just stay on the other side of the room?" He's like, "No, he threw watermelon at me. I'm not taking that. I'm not sitting here with him." And my son, my 13-year-old, is like, "Ken, you know what? I think you went too far with the just pay your effing taxes. I don't think you should have to apologize, but I think you hurt him more than he hurt you." And he took a step back, and he's like, "All right, fine. As long as he just doesn't talk to me, that's fine." So my 13-year-old is smarter than all of us, broke into piece between Ken and Brad. And Ken says he's still never talking to Brad again, but that was nice for the rest of the day at least.
What an amazing story.
Yeah, it's nice.
That reminded me of a little bit of when you and Jeff Ross were feuding for months, and then Tom Cruise heard both sides of the story and then said, "You've offended your friend. You have to apologize to him." Yeah,
it was that. Yeah, it's like a 13-year-old Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an incredible story.
There you go. I feel like I raised him the right way, just based on that.
What a week for Ken. He had a 10-hour phone call with another man, and he had watermelon thrown at him by a lunatic.
The Codys are really heating up in the fourth quarter. Everybody wants it.
Oh, my God. And then there's our friend Daniel, who was genuinely upset at me that I didn't invite him to the Ringer staff holiday party that was on a Thursday and only had people that worked for the Ringer.
Right.
Just furious.
He's going to hear this, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be even more upset.
For my parent corner, I have to go get my son. So hold on one second.
Oh, good.
All right. For my parent corner, instead of having me tell you what my son's Christmas list is, he's actually here. He's going to tell us.
Oh, good.
His Christmas list. This is what he's asked for. Do you still believe in Santa or no?
Hell no.
Okay. All right. You believed in the elf on the shelf until a year ago.
Yeah, when Mom told me he was fake.
Okay.
In the restaurant.
No, I told you.
No. Oh, wait, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
You want that distinction.
Yeah. All right, give us your Christmas list, Ben.
Number 1, NXT wrestling figures.
NXT wrestling figures. Any ones in particular?
I want them to make an Aleister Black figure.
Okay. What's number 2?
A gold chain.
Mm-hmm.
A gold chain.
Is it thick? Is it thin?
What kind of a gold chain and why?
I want a thin one to look like Craig Kimbrell for baseball.
Okay.
Wow.
Sounds good. Where do we get a gold chain? Kyle, are you going to help out with
yeah,
this?
we'll find one. We'll find a good one.
All right, because Kyle's
Does he
been
watch
on.
Mr. T? Does he watch Rocky 3? I mean, is that what he's...
Do you want a clock like Flava Flav or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll start with a chain. We'll see if you like it. All right, what else is on the list, Ben?
Baseballs. I need more baseballs because I keep on throwing them over
Throwing them over where?
in the bushes or like over to the neighbor's yard.
So Ben, he plays baseball in the backyard, and you're not going to believe this, but sometimes takes full baseball swings and hits the ball. And they went into the neighbor's yard, and our neighbor who speaks English, but I wouldn't say it's strong, called my wife over and gave her like 12 of Ben's baseballs that were all in their yard that had bounced in their pool and hit various parts of their guest house and things like that. So the neighbor's not a big fan of Ben. What else, Ben?
I know. I want a new glove for baseball too.
Why do you need a new glove?
Because I writ all over mine.
You did what?
You writ?
I
You wrote all
yeah. I don't have good grammar. Don't judge me.
Okay.
I thought he said I want a new drug. I thought it was a Huey Lewis.
That's
nice.
next year.
Okay.
What else, Ben?
I want gift cards.
Gift cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got some PlayStation gift cards, and you got the code, and you got the WWE 2K19 game
Yeah.
for video, and that was good.
Gotta be careful with the Visa gift cards because then you could just go off the internet. You have specific gift cards.
Yeah. It's got to be like PlayStation
Something specific.
or iTunes. You like the iTunes gift card. Okay. What else? This is good for your grandparents to listen to this.
I
By the
like
way.
this.
Last thing, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Woo!
Yeah. That's actually that we've run ads from them, and that was like a generic ad right there. Wasn't even an ad
Yeah,
Nice.
it's the better GTA.
because I haven't allowed you to play GTA yet.
Yeah.
Any New Year's resolutions, Ben? Other than to not be as much of a dick?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
That's good enough, I think.
That's
Yeah.
good. All right.
Ben, hold on. Wait, didn't you, wasn't he playing Call of Duty? Not Call of Duty. What's
Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah. And then what happened with that? I think people want to know. He was suspended, grounded from playing.
Well, yeah, I did get. He threw the controller and it
Right.
bounced off the floor and hit his TV and shattered the screen on the TV. And guess who hasn't had a TV for the last month and a half?
Oh, it really
Ben
has been that
Simmons.
long?
Yeah, he has no
Oh.
TV in his room anymore. Not that he should have in the first place.
Wow. All right. I'm proud of you for having.
What'd you learn
Ben,
from-
You know what you should add to the list? Add the neighbor's house. Then it's easier. Then you don't have to get more balls. You could it'll be your house.
Yeah.
And you could get, right? I mean, if Daddy really loves you, buy
Yeah.
the house next door.
So that's it, Ben? Any New Year's
Yeah.
resolutions other than not be as much of a dick?
No.
What is there going to be a girlfriend for you next year?
Hell no.
Hell no.
I'm waiting till 16 at least.
16.
We'll talk after, Ben.
What are your thoughts on nephew Kyle dating the girl again?
Oh, no.
He's back. The on again, off again girlfriend is now on.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh man,
It's fine.
Ben is your homie,
It's
man. He
fine.
always has your back.
I know.
That's your dude right there.
We'll go out and find girlfriends together.
Yeah.
We'll walk Melrose or something.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll buy you a baseball, Ben.
Ben, thanks for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Good luck getting some of those gifts.
I love it. See you, Ben.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I had him on because one of his Christmas wish list things was a gold chain, and I felt like you needed to know that.
That's the best.
He's 11. Do you know anybody who's put a gold chain on their wish list?
No, I really don't. I'm trying to think.
Kyle, what's in my future with that kid?
More gold chains for sure. More than multiple gold chains.
There's going to be a leather jacket soon, too, isn't there?
Yeah.
He's going to be a Chris Moltisanti, I think. I think you got a soprano on your hand.
It's like 25% Italian. What do you have to plug, Sal?
I'll lock it in Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern time. Damn it, Rams! I would have won. I would have had a 60% profit on the week, but they couldn't pull it together. Jimmy Kimmel Live, 11:35 each weeknight on ABC. And against all odds, Wednesday night, we're going to handicap the big games. We'll get best bets from the Jenner trifecta. Harry's won 9 out of 10 bets, so listen for that.
Has he really?
Yeah, he won't let me forget it either. Bucks under. It's always a stupid game that I don't want to take. The Buccaneers under. There's going to be no points in that game. He was right.
Can we do a 24-hour telethon where it's just Ken and Harry talking?
No, that would be
trying to
great.
raise money for Brad's taxes?
Yeah. It's only it's only 2.5 phone calls. Yeah, if everyone sends $1, we can tell more Brad stories. We wouldn't have enough money, but
Can't Brad start like a Patreon account so people can chip in? He's brought so much
poor
joy.
Brad.
My
Crazy.
God.
Maybe
all right.
maybe there's a watermelon tossing league you can join and excel at
I
that.
can't believe he threw watermelon chunks at Ken.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's like especially disgusting. Like a donut
It
would have
just
been
seems like
better.
a line you wouldn't cross, right?
Donut
Yeah.
would have been better.
Watermelons are wet.
Yeah, you're
like
moist
they stain.
afterwards. Yeah.
Some people are
Right.
allergic to watermelon.
It
That's
stained his shirt. Yeah, Ken claimed he had a date tonight. I don't know. There was a lot going on.
a date like a Tinder date.
I don't know. We get into it. He had to get on a plane for it. So
You get on a plane for a
Big time.
date?
I have crazy friends. I think I have too many crazy friends. I may have to make cuts.
That should be like a nightclub.
Yeah.
You have, you're like a 50-person nightclub is your friend base, and once you
Right.
get to 50, you got to kick somebody out if you add a new friend. Like your friend, who's your best friend at Fox that you've made since you started working for them?
Well,
Rob-
I like Stoner. but,
Rob Stone. You
yeah.
like Marcellus Wiley. You like a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of those guys. So you add a couple of those people, kick a couple of the older people out of the nightclub.
I like it. And make a reality show out of it. Yeah, that's smart.
You should vote some of them off.
Yeah, and then someone gets a nice shiny gold chain at the end.
By the way, I'm not coming to the fantasy draft next year. I'm really done. I don't want to do this anymore.
You're going. It's gonna be fun.
I don't feel good about myself. I did not enjoy today. I have low self-esteem now. I didn't like it.
How would this be the greatest fantasy win ever if Drew Brees gets hurt in the first play?
Like if they just benched him.
Yeah, it did something. Yeah, I guess they'd have to bench him.
Drew Brees is hurt. The announcers are talking in hushed tones. I'm jumping
Yeah.
on the coffee table.
Yeah, those are forget the dumb Wentz trade rumors. Those are the rumors you'd be starting about Drew Brees' Twitter. Something weird.
Poor Wentz. Should Wentz start boxing stuff up now?
No, man, I don't know what they're going to do with him.
Yeah.
You got to pay him.
I'm sure the next fan base will like him. All right, Sal. Good job by you.
Good job by you, Billy.
All right. Thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to go to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Thanks to Simply Safe. Remember, Simply Safe Home Security System is ready to protect your home and family. And if you're waiting for the right holiday tech deal to come out, you made a smart move. Right now, go to simplysafe.com/BS. Take advantage of their amazing holiday offer. No contract, no hidden fees. Once again, simplysafe.com/BS. That is Simply Safe with 2 I's for a great deal on a great security system. Hurry. This offer ends soon thanks to theringer.com. Don't forget to check out all of our awesome best of 2018 stuff. And thanks to FanDuel. If you're not a fantasy expert, FanDuel is the place to play. At FanDuel, you get the excitement of researching and building your team each week, regardless of the outcome. And you don't get your feelings hurt by people you've known for 15 weeks who then let you down in week 15. Come play with me at FanDuel.com/BS. Get a $5 bonus when you make first deposit. New users only bonus, not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For full eligibility rules and terms and conditions, go to FanDuel.com. Don't forget about the rewatchables. That is going to be earlier in this week. We're doing Con Air, and I will see you here on the BS podcast. Until then.